Hey everyone, Dr. Conley here with a few final comments on the case of Donald that I hope we learned from. We're all in agreement. We want to know how old he is. We want to know when he started using. Those would be two good things to know. Yeah, his client has a lot going on. The other commonality that came out of the discussions was who is enabling him. I like the term passive enabler that got kicked around by a couple of you. Somebody's paying his bills. Is he still on mom and dad's cell phone plan? Who's got the rent covered? Um, we know he's at least 25. I mean, the age of onset of the Xanax and cannabis, which he's doing quite a bit. 4 Xanax a day, four $20 bags of marijuana. At any rate, no history of treatment. So yeah, there's that. The one comment in the citation about having to triage the information on an intake evaluation session like this, we can only get so much. We can flag stuff and think, I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to learn more about the girlfriend, his so-called ride or die chick. Who was the friend who sent him in? Or suggested that he came in, and how come? I mean, we want answers to these questions. These are all things that, if we conduct this interview properly, he will be back. Almost all of you suggested a motivational interviewing approach. I noted that when that first came out, I noted for one or two of you, when Miller and Rolnick first rolled that model out, it was amazing for the field of addiction studies, because that, I think, conceptually is when addiction counseling and social work started to converge, because social workers have always been empowerment oriented. We've always wanted to empower the individual to change themselves. And that's really what MI does. It helps to develop the internal motivation of the client. And don't underestimate the fact that this guy came in. I mean, he walked across that threshold, and for every Donald that walks across the threshold, there's a dozen that never get off the couch. They don't. So he's there. Emotionally, we want to make this a rewarding experience for him, regardless of what information we get. We want it to feel good enough for him that he wants to come back. We want him to like being there. And you can do that. I mean, show a genuine, sincere interest in what's going on with him. Don't be accusatory about the drugs. Just kind of roll with it. See what he thinks about. The lethality thing, he did have some suicidal thing before, not currently. He has the PHQ. Somebody suggested the Beck Depression Inventory, an excellent instrument. I actually inserted the Center for Epidemiological Studies Depression Inventory. I inserted that as a file in one of your posts. So the CESD is great and it's free. It also converges with the Beck at about 99% level. So there's that. I wonder about TBI. Something's going on with him. The medical raised some questions. What's up with that? With his back. What's up with his hands? The mom and dad support him no matter what he does. Yeah, I think that's a red flag there. We do want to get to the family of origin. The brother dying. I mean, there's potential complicated bereavement. Hey, one thing nobody picked up on. He's interested in bombs. I think a simple question like, built any? Got the materials? Do you actually know how? Ever download any blueprints? I would add that to the lethality assessment. If somebody's interested in bombs, he wants to join the military and get better at blowing stuff up, that's fine. I mean, if he wants to channel it in that way. But, if he's at home playing mad chemist with various substances, we want to know that too. I'm going to skip over the the DSM stuff for a second and say, same reason with that collateral. If somebody comes in, we want them to want to come back. We do have to ask those intrusive questions, as I made clear, and some of you did make clear. It's a public health function. We have to be engaged in the prevention of sexually transmitted diseases and other things. HIV is one, could involve needles. The hepatitis C as well. So we need to help people realize whether or not they could be at risk of transmitting that or getting it. So that's the reason. I think most of you're social workers, you've practiced, whether you've asked the questions or not, you could work your way through it, letting the client know why we're doing it and saying, hey, I've got to ask these uncomfortable questions, maybe not so uncomfortable, I don't know, but, here's why, and then you just get to it. But the purpose of the assignment is for you to be in touch with your gut feelings. Oh, I'm at almost 5 minutes on this lecture. Okay, finally, down the bottom, super valuable, that DSM-5 diagnostic chart. Really good chart. I may have that as a cutout that I can send to you. It's a great way of putting in the primary, secondary, and tertiary substances, whether or not they meet each criteria for each, and summing it up down the bottom. Really good grid. You'll find in clinical practice with addictions, those kind of grids are good. They're not permanent. We're looking to make a diagnosis, kind of, based on this session. We can revisit this later if we get anything wrong. So there you have it. Great job on this. Good job keeping up. I almost got behind on reviewing work because it comes at us pretty quick. It's a week, it's what during a regular academic semester would be 2 weeks. I'm giving you guys in a week because I know you can handle it. Okay, anything comes up, feel free to reach me by email. I'm readily available, and look forward to working with you in Module 5.